Hi, Mystery Knox listeners, and welcome back to the podcast. You wouldn't think monsters would be associated with Christmas time, a time of cheer, a time to spend with those that matter most. But if that's what you think, you'd be wrong. You see, this half-demon, half-monster has been around for a very, very long time. This is the legend of Krampus. Hey, listeners. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter than usual, but we just wanted to get something out to y'all on Christmas. So here it is. The story of Krampus. Before we get into that, though, we just wanted to chat with y'all, see how you guys are doing, and tell you that, Mary is back.
Internal
Mary, tell them.
Stitching? No, sorry.
Tell them the story, Mary. Give them the gory details.
Where do I begin?
Well, you guys know that Mary had surgery, so that's why there were no episodes in November. But she is on the mend, and Mary is well enough to do an episode.
Yeah, I can sit here longer than 30 minutes now.
Exactly. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we are back on schedule.
Well, that can be debated as well.
We are trying
there.
to be back on schedule. Yeah. She still has a few weeks left.
No, don't blame this on me.
Yeah, she still has a few weeks left. But yeah, we did want to get this episode out to y'all.
We're kind of sort of back. We'll see how this goes.
Pretty much, yeah. Mary, what are you doing for Christmas?
Nothing. I had my a gift exchange thing last week. I made a turkey and everything that comes with it. Yeah, it was a little just get together, and it was also a thank you for just a couple of people that helped me out when I was going through recovery. So I made a little Christmas thing. We exchanged presents, had turkey, wore ugly Christmas sweaters. That was it, pretty much.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
So on Christmas Day, I don't think I'll be doing anything other than editing this, really. Or maybe it's done. No, I don't think I'll be doing anything. No, because, I'm here, and then I know my dad wants me to go visit him and my mom, and I'm just I don't like traveling on Christmas or any major holiday. I don't like doing that just because of how people can get with just people. And I just have this thing of not traveling around the holidays or on the holiday. What about you guys?
We are going to have some neighbors over for Christmas lunch, dinner-ish. But yeah, that's about it. We don't like to travel during the holidays either, so.
There's too many, stupid things that happens on the roads, just even menial traffic. Ow.
Exactly.
What are you making? Are you making anything?
Tyler is making, what is it called? Prime rib? Is that what you call it?
Oh, see, I'm hearing a lot of that. Prime rib.
Yeah, with some green beans and he's not making the apple pie, but we're going to get an apple pie. Typically, we have mashed potatoes, but we're not doing that this year for whatever reason. Oh, we're going to get mac and cheese instead, homemade mac and cheese that our neighbors, somebody made for our neighbors, and they're going to bring it. Because actually, one of my kids got their braces on a few days ago, and so she kind of can't really eat much besides soft foods right now.
Just eat for her,
So
this pie is delicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't have any.
Exactly. So that's that. But yeah, that's basically all we're doing. Though obviously the kids will open their gifts in the morning and all that jazz.
Do you guys, you and Tyler, do you guys still, do presents for each other, surprise, or do you just buy your own stuff?
Well, usually we don't get each other gifts, but, he got me a surprise gift this year, so then I felt obligated to get him something. I was like, damn it! I was like, okay, well, what do you want? Because He's the kind of person who, like, if he wants something, he just gets it. You know, he's one of those people. So he's very hard to shop for. So I literally was just like, tell me what you want because I'm not even gonna guess. Uh-huh. And so he told me what he wanted, and so I just got him that.
Do you guys, like, watch any movies or?
No, tomorrow we're gonna pick a Christmas movie and watch it. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one yet. We try to pick different ones.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas, yeah, we don't really do much besides the kids just open their gifts, and then they're busy the whole day playing with their stuff. And then, yeah, we have the Christmas dinner every year, but that's about it.
Oh. Yeah, we would normally obviously Christmas dinner, but, like, we always make sure to watch Christmas Vacation. Like, that's the one movie every year.
Well, I can't watch that with the kids yet.
Oh, it's fine.
Not yet.
Like, some of the stuff, oh my gosh. And you probably know of some of these things because I think I brought it up. But I would watch it as a kid. And then when you watch it as an adult, the amount of stuff they include just for adults is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I did not catch on. Of course, I wouldn't have at that age.
As a kid, yeah.
I don't know about kids today, but the amount of stuff that they include.
It's like that in Disney movies, too. It's like that.
Oh, Disney.
Yeah, when you go back and watch. And I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking hilarious. Yeah. Like, but as a kid, you don't pick up on it.
It's like, how did I not see that or catch that? Mm-hmm. But then we were different then as opposed to now with these corrupted minds.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, we should get started. And with that being said, let's get to the story. Nowadays, the only bad thing that would happen to you if you were a naughty child is usually a lump of coal in your stocking. But way back in the day, you'd get much more than that. Quote, if being good for Santa wasn't enough for a delinquent, Krampus's reputation and fearsome appearance terrified children into behaving. As such, it was a useful tale told to children to scare them into goodness. End quote. He carried a rootin bundle or birch rod, but his role always remained the same, to punish children that have misbehaved or strike terror into the hearts and minds of children, and some adults. Krampus, Santa's evil counterpart, the Christmas devil, also known as Black Peter in some other countries, originated from Norse mythology and Alpine folklore. It has been thought and believed that Krampus, which comes from the German word of Krampen, meaning claw, originated in Central Europe, more specifically in Germany, but other countries such as Austria, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic and Bavaria also tell their own stories of Krampus. Quote, Krampus was thought to have been part of pagan rituals for the winter solstice, the pagan ritual meant to disperse winter's ghosts. End quote. Historians are unsure of exactly when the Krampus legend originated, but they think the legend predates Christianity.
So what exactly does Krampus look like? I've seen the photos and they're quite creepy. To think children back in the day thought this was real and were seeing these photos is kind of horrifying. We will obviously have these up on the blog for you to look at. One thing that does remain constant is his appearance. He's described as being 8 or 9 feet tall, half goat, half demon, with his body covered in dark, black or brown coarse fur, accompanied by pointy, devilish horns, and a long, snake-like tongue. Quote, the Krampus could be heard in the night by the sound of his echoing cloven hooves and his rattling iron chains. End quote. With Christianity gaining population in the region, so did the aspect of Krampus's appearance, as it, quote, began to shift to fall in line with Christian beliefs. The chains, for example, were not originally a feature of Hell's ghoulish son. It's believed that Christians added them to invoke the binding of the devil. End quote. Some have even said that he symbolized a fallen angel or even a demon that was being bound by the church. Quote, like many legendary characters, including St. Nicholas himself, Krampus's image has evolved over time and throughout regions. But Krampus represented a balance of light and dark, proving a harmony between good and evil. End quote. According to legend, Krampus would show up on December 5th, on the eve of Krampusnacht, also known as the Feast of St. Nicholas. While St. Nicholas rewards nice children by leaving presents, Krampus beats those who are naughty with branches and sticks. In some cases, he is said to eat them, drown them in a river, or take them to hell. On December 6th, St. Nicholas Day, children awaken to find their gifts or nurse their injuries. Festivities involving Krampus include the Krampuslauf. I'm saying that totally wrong, but it's otherwise translated to Krampus Run. In this activity, which often involves alcohol, people dressed as the creature parade through streets, scaring spectators and sometimes chasing them. Beginning in the late 20th century amid efforts to preserve cultural heritage, Krampus runs became increasingly popular in Austria and Germany. It's also said that no one is safe during this time of celebration, as children and adults alike would also get swatted, and the swats weren't exactly gentle. Quote, tradition has become an important one in many countries and has come to include expensive handmade masks, which are typically carved from wood, products of significant labor. Elaborate costumes made by artisans who often work months on them, which some even end up on display in museums, as examples of living tradition of folk art, and even parades. End quote. Though with this, many have complained that the celebration has become too commercialized. Quote, during this time, Krampus began to be celebrated internationally, and the monster's growing appeal was evidenced by numerous horror films. Some claimed that the expanding popularity of Krampus was a reaction to the commercialization of Christmas. End quote. Also around the 1890s, in Germany and Austria, postcards from Krampus became a thing, otherwise known as Greetings from Krampus, where it showed Krampus stuffing a distressed child into his satchel, or preparing to hit one with his bundle of birch sticks. Many of these postcards depicted Krampus going after children with his sticks, leading them away in chains, or carrying them off in his bag. End quote. And then there were cards that were a little more adult, which you could draw your own conclusion to on these types of visuals, though they were still moderately PG. Yeah, I've seen them. They're not that, but I guess given the time it came out, it was very scandalous, but it was still, yes. I mean, it could always be worse, but yeah, no, they weren't as bad, but I can't believe that was like a big thing to get a letter from Krampus, but then people also get letters from Santa, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
But can you imagine being a kid back then in the 1890s and getting a postcard from Krampus? That would be horrifying as a kid. So but also like as a parent, I'd be like, yes, because then like, it would help with their behavior. Mm-hmm. Ideally.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a very good tradition to have. I like that. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with it, Krampus? The whole?
No, so like I literally kind of knew nothing about it. The only time I had heard about it was from that movie that they made.
Oh, okay.
Called Krampus, which I've never watched, but apparently they made a movie called Krampus.
Yeah, that's what Sophie brought up. She's like, "Oh, the movie was really good," and I was like, "I have no idea. I don't watch movies anymore."
Yeah, but before that, I had never really heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
And I've heard about it. With it being, German or from that region, yeah, I've heard about it, but I didn't really. It wasn't a thing with our household or with me in general, but I did hear about it. I did know of Krampus, because that was also talked about when I was in, I think, Singapore, because we would talk about the difference of traditions, and like I had a kid in class, he was from the Netherlands, and like Santa Claus, I'm probably saying it wrong, but they had their own version of Santa Claus, which then led into discussion of Krampus. So I knew just vaguely about it, but yeah, to dive more into it like we did with this episode, it was interesting, especially to see how much influence he had at the time, and to, well, I don't know about keeping kids in line, because kids are kids, but I like that whole idea of just calm your shit, basically.
Yeah, I'm just like, I guess for the time, like I kind of was a little shocked that it was so, I don't know, I don't want to say brutal, but like kind of like depiction of hurting kids.
Things
you know what I mean?
Back then, though. Not to say back then again, but no, things were, because and I'm pretty sure that, you can verify as well, like, growing up, our parents had a stern hand,
Yeah.
Nowadays is debatable.
It's not.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just funny to me because they're like back hundreds of years ago, they were fine with being brutal, like, and medieval torture and all that stuff. But, like, to show a stomach was like, oh my god. You know what I mean? And it's just like, seriously?
Like Victorian times where they show an ankle and it's like, oh my god, ankle.
Yeah, but yet here they are, like, cutting people's heads off and showing it to kids, and they're fine with that. Yeah. It's just funny to me how. And I think how crazy
European, in general, culture and tradition, all that stuff is different than it is here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I kind of like. Like, everything's, or it seems. I obviously don't know because I didn't grow up in Europe, But from when I talk to other people, everything's pretty much spoken about and, like, right there in your face. Anything brutal, it's there, it's explained, it's, you have a cause and effect. Here, it's just, we kind of gloss over it, and I'm just like, dude.
We're more like, what do they call it?
Sugarcoating things.
Sugarcoating, yeah, thanks. I couldn't think of the term.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is I've been watching Antiques Roadshow a lot.
Oh, God.
Like the British version.
Oh.
I love that show. I like both versions. But it's funny because I've been watching the British one a lot, and I've noticed that even on Antiques Roadshow, like, British people, they're just blunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of Europeans are just blunt. And there was this one episode where the guy who was looking at the stuff the guy brought, he was like, I'm going to do a horrible British accent, but he was like, well, when I saw your glasses, I just thought they were rather boring at first. And I'm just like, damn, dude, just your glasses, he's basically saying your glasses sucked.
Yeah.
And then he looked further into it, and then he got more interested once he found out the story about it. But it was just the way he said it. And I'm like, I would never say that to somebody. I don't know. I guess it's just the culture.
Yeah. Yeah, because people, they tend to get their feelings hurt here more easily than over there.
I guess so.
Is what it seems like. Because you say things here and people are like, what? They get so offended. And they don't want to... Yeah, they don't want to hear, like, the whole thing. They just take that little bit and then run with it. It's like, well, there's a reason why they say that.
Yeah.
But
it is interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, listeners, what do you think? Do you believe in the legend of Krampus? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That's it for today's episode, and thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow us on our socials, which can be found in the description. We'll see you on our next episode, and remember, stay weird, stay curious. That sounds gross, the Krampus.
I know.
I got this Krampus in my side and I just can't get it. It's there. I can't get it out.
Ah, shit. Okay.